Hey, this is JC. Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban knife style and jungle survival. Today, I'm going to do a one-year review of what I think is better for urban EDC, a Leatherman-style multi-tool or the classic Swiss Army knife. I'll share with you my thoughts and rationale in this video. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, do check out my shop links in the pinned comment or description below. You can even join as a channel member for exclusive content. Thanks a lot. So this is just one part of my collection of Leatherman tools and Swiss Army knives, and I probably have had the compact the longest among at least these knives that you see in front of you. But I have had this Leatherman tool for over a year, and I've been carrying it very regularly as well. So I've switched between a Leatherman multi-tool and a Swiss Army knife as my urban EDC. But let me first give you some of my initial thoughts. Urban EDC for me is to go around in the city and carry my everyday items that I might need or what I consider essential that I would want on me. And I typically would carry things in a sling bag or in my pockets, and that's about it. So I would typically carry my EDC items in a sling bag, which is most of the time, or in my pockets if I'm not bringing a bag, and that's usually for really short trips out. But if I'm going out for the day or even just half a day or part of the day, I would definitely bring an EDC bag, which is where I would keep most of my loadout. So I have those two variables in mind. I don't wear things on my belt. I don't stuff my pockets. I like to keep my pockets light. Generally, I only have my phone and a knife or folder or a Swiss Army knife in my pocket, and that's it, right? Even things like coins or change, my wallet, cards, they're all in my EDC pouch. So that's just me. Everyone's lifestyle, fashion sense is different, but I'm telling you that to kind of form a context or baselines of my EDC decisions. Now, even though I carry a pouch, I still want to be as lightweight as possible. I do not want to overstuff my pouch. I've shared my loadouts before. You can check out the recent one in the link in the card above or description below. So a multi-tool like this is the Leatherman Free P4. Great tool. I really like it a lot in terms of its functionality and its ability to open one-handed. I think it's a great cheaper alternative to the ARC. I've got no problem with not having a 154 cm blade steel, but it is a very heavy tool, not something I want to carry every day. Great for an emergency pouch, great for a toolkit, but not something I would want to carry every day. So something like this to me is too heavy. So that would be any of a similar size tool, whether it's the Wave Plus or ARC. Not something I personally would EDC. I personally like this over this. So this is a smaller Leatherman tool. This is the ref. So you can see compared to, let's say, something like that, it is smaller in size. Thickness may be slightly slimmer, but negligible. But what I personally like, if I'm carrying a primary tool, the knife for me is the primary tool. And if I can help it, I do want to be able to deploy the blade one-handed. So that's something I personally like, which is why I like to carry folders. And if I don't, then something like the Skeleton CX works very well because I can deploy that blade one-handed. So that's a feature I like and something I won't get out of this. And in terms of weight, the Skeleton is definitely still lighter. This has more functionality, definitely, but personally for me, for my urban EDC needs, I don't need all these tools. I can get away with what's in the Leatherman Skeleton and the Swiss Army knife. When it comes to Swiss Army knives, really, I think it's personal preference, so I'm not going to get into the details of the tool set. Everyone has their individual preferences, but I'm happy with either the compact or this. This is the Pioneer X. This is the limited edition Thunder Grey 2022 edition. I like this. It's sturdy, it's strong. The blade is nice and big. Just overall like the look and just in terms of the color scheme as well. And of course the compact is very dependable. So just for sake of discussion, pick your favorite Swiss Army knife, except the Swiss Champ. That's too big. So something for me, I like a tool layer knife as my Swiss Army knife. I also like a full-size knife. Anything like this, right? You might be talking about, what about a keychain alternative, whether it's a multi-tool or a Swiss Army knife? These to me are secondary backup tools that I might carry if I want, but never a primary. I don't think they suit my needs. So something like this works, something like this works, and just to get it out of the way, what about something like this, the SAK PowerPoint? Great tool, right? So much functionality, great pliers and great design for its size. And it's larger than keychain, so it's definitely more useful. But for me, if I'm going to carry this, I would pair it with a folder. Why? As I mentioned earlier, I like a primary knife that I can deploy. So you might be saying, well, what about the Swiss Army knife? You can't deploy it with one hand. True, but what it makes up for that lack of one-hand deployment would be the size. So this is something I can carry in my pocket or in my pouch and fit either way. This is something I would generally carry in my pouch. If I had to carry it in my pocket, I could, but I generally don't, because it's still too bulky for what I consider pocket carry. Everyone, as I said, is different, and I won't belt carry this. But this is nice and slim. It's got the functionality I need. Pliers, knife, screwdrivers, or at least the bits for the screwdrivers. This I have the glass breaker add-on, and I've also got this additional kind of a hammerhead added on. So to me, this is the functionality I use, and I use this, I would say, every time I go out. No, not every time, but definitely several times a week. So it is dependable. Now, so the main question actually between these two, besides the size, is functionality, and that would of course be the pliers. Do I use the pliers often enough, or do I not need the pliers and just use this? I can tell you honestly, I don't use the pliers a lot. I use it from time to time, but not like some people. I hear them, they have to screw bolts every time they go out. I don't know why, but that's why they carry something like the Kinepix pliers, because they need to tighten bolts every single day, every time they go out. I don't need to do that. However, it is nice to have, because sometimes it does come in handy to have a pair of pliers, and I have used it at times. So if I'm going out on my everyday EDC, I'm carrying my sling bag, I generally have no problem carrying this. So I get my one-hand deployment blade, I have that screwdrivers, and I have that pliers if I ever need. So overall, and I've actually used this, by the way, to pound things. So it has served me very well. Now, Swiss Army knife, you don't have the pliers. In the most, you have the scissors, but I'm again maybe strange, different from the rest. I don't really use the scissors much. I would use the knife the most, and then the screwdrivers. Definitely I'll use those. But one thing I do like about the Swiss Army knife is the reamer. I actually use the reamer of the awl a lot, and I find that a useful tool. It's a dirty tool where you don't have to use your knife, but you need to pierce or puncture something, and I find this very useful. So I just wish that the Skeleton had a reamer, and I think that would maybe be perfect. So if I was to go out without my pouch and I need to pocket carry, you guessed it, I will take the Swiss Army knife. That's an easy choice. But overall, after 1 year, in my context, when I go out for urban EDC carrying a pouch, my choice is the Leatherman Skeleton. It has all the functionality I need. It's sleek, it's slim, doesn't take up too much space, it's lightweight, and that is my choice overall. What about you? Have you had the dilemma of thinking which you should carry, a multi-tool or a Swiss Army knife? Well, let me know what's your ultimate decision, and did you take 1 year to figure it out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.